Welcome everybody. It is Business Monday. The Small Biz Fuel is here. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Lots of news going on across Rhode Island. Check out some major updates on GoLocal Live. We're going to jump into it. We've got Hope Hopkins from Mass Challenge here. She's the guru of, fueling the growth of a bunch of cool startups.
Well, thanks for that introduction. Yes, everybody. So hi there, I'm Hope Hopkins. I am indeed the program director for Mass Challenge Rhode Island, and currently in good company with 24 startups right here in Providence.
And give me a description of the startups. What are they trying to do? What are they trying to build?
Sure. That's the best thing about them is there is no one description that fits all of them.
Yeah.
So of the 24, we have companies that are interested in food sustainability. We have a company, a social justice company is what they go by, and they're
selling social justice?
Social justice in the spirit of if you lose your luggage or if a flight is canceled, they have a technology application that you can have that resolved, or at least the dispute in process before you even land on the other side. So
I'm going to pull you back over.
That's their version of.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Any tech, pure tech.
There is pure tech. So we have Air Advisor. I would call them a pure tech company.
Yeah.
We also have Green Choice, which is a technology application for food sustainability and traceability. I'm trying to think of some of the others right now. A health tech application that is looking at drug interactions and how to avoid them. Lots of good
Great.
stuff.
How did the 24 come under your leadership? How did they get selected?
So Mass Challenge runs we have 7 general accelerators around the globe. So in the 3rd week of January, we opened the doors to the applications, and a number of startups apply in, and we were lucky enough that we had a pretty significant number select Rhode Island as their program of choice.
Great.
And then they went through 2 rounds of judging, and then they were
to be selected to become what we call a finalist, and they are now in residence. They found out that they were a finalist in May and moved to Rhode Island on June 17th, and we got underway. I'll get to sort of where they live and how they live.
Sure.
Process, but 13 from Rhode Island base?
13 have a Rhode Island base, yes. Yep.
Tied to the universities?
Many from Brown, absolutely. Yep. And some, just true entrepreneurs that are coming out of the woodwork, which we love to see.
And then you mentioned in the green room before we started, one of them's from the Ukraine?
Yes, we do have a company, Ukraine by way of Dubai.
I just did that this weekend.
Absolutely, yes. So Mass Challenge, we're lucky.
You can't get Brown students to go to Pawtucket, but somehow Mass Challenge brought a Ukrainian startup via Dubai into Providence.
I don't want to say anything about Pawtucket, but there is something resonant with offering prize money.
Now, the 24 go into sort of final analysis and judging end of this month?
Right. So they've been with us, like I said, since June 17th, working unbelievably hard. I mean, the program really, we do lots of curriculum. We do a big startup showcase with them. But we want them to work on their business rather than in their business. So we are winding down now, and they go to pre-final judging on September 26th. And that will identify the top 5 that will go on to become eligible for the $100,000.
Great. And then who are the judges? Are they secret?
No, they are not secret.
Okay.
The judges are members of our community. So that's the most amazing thing about launching this program in Rhode Island has been the social capital and the fact that we've had so many people raise their hands to judge, to mentor, to just be, any sort of supportive ear. So the judges are typically comprised of the community.
Right.
And then for right now, though, we are desperately looking for some judges that have not yet been overexposed to these startups.
That's great.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what your experience has been. This is your second year running this program.
It's first year, second
First
year,
year.
it's been in Rhode Island, yes.
Okay, so first year running it all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
What's been your biggest surprise of working with these startups?
Well, I sort of indicated it earlier, how caught up in emotionally I've become and in the passion of these folks. And just truly, these are folks that are driven and determined and passionate about what they get up and do every day. And there are times where I really think this does not feel like a real job.
Yeah.
So.
And then what's been the biggest disappointment maybe?
I can't say that there's been a disappointment. I think I'm due for one when they move, when some are winners and some are not.
When the 24 goes to 5, will that
right.
be
That's going to be
sort
hard
of,
for me.
Yeah.
I'm, for so many different reasons, I've become very, there's a lot of skin in the game for all of them.
Yeah.
So, yes, yeah.
And then what will we'll go to the 5 in a minute. What will happen to the 19 who aren't selected as?
Sure. Well, we are going to give them the option to stay in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
We do have space right now available as the program continues to build. So we figure we won't kick them out of the nest if we can keep them.
Yeah.
So they will be able to stay on as an alumni. And those that physically can't stay in Rhode Island for one reason or another, visas or family members that are calling them back, they will go.
Yeah. And let's talk about the 5. What happens to the 5 after they're selected?
So the 5 then go to final judging, a final
Mm-hmm.
round of judging, and then there's a significant amount of deliberation that happens after that to determine if that $100,000 gets split up. And then they have to wait until October 24th, which is our big awards gala, to find out whether or not they are winners.
So do they literally find out, like open the envelope?
Yes.
Kind of little
Yep.
Emmy or Oscar awards?
Mass Challenge is currently casting among employees, of course, for what we call the voice of God. So, yeah.
Can't we get some Rhode Island celebrity? There was just a fight the other day between John O'Hurley, who graduated from Providence College, who was on Seinfeld,
Okay.
and Deborah Messing. They were fighting about Trump. Couldn't we
Okay.
get one of them or maybe co-host the final event?
I'm game.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
would be
let's-
great.
let's
And then
try it.
Trump would weigh in some way.
We just want attention, right?
And where will this event take place? Will it be in a
So-
ballroom?
It's going to be held at the Boston Convention Center. So there's a Mass Challenge flagship enterprise in Boston.
Right.
They have 104 startups with them this summer. So we go to them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But not for much longer.
Excellent. And what do you suspect? You've gotten to know them, love them, work with them over the period of time, and you don't have to name names. How many of these startups do you feel like these are real? They're going to be, whether they make the final 5 or win the 100,000. How many of these you're like they're going to be a real business?
Yeah, so that's hard for me. You sort of suspend your disbelief at this point because you're just gunning for them. But I will say that in the time that I've gotten to know many of them, products have actually hit shelves,
Yep.
and that's super exciting. Some have gotten the seed funding that they've needed, and others are in the process of raising. So I feel like at least each of them has a little bit more gas in the engine.
Who's raised the most capital?
I am going to, I don't know exactly.
How much is the most ballpark?
There's one company that I believe, but I'm going to defer to them to share that number.
Okay.
Sorry.
You can't even give a range? You're not naming the company?
It's not millions, okay?
Okay, hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands,
Okay,
yes.
excellent.
Yep.
And what do you think this does for Rhode Island? We've got, in many ways, an old economy that's trying to become a new economy. We've got an much older population than the average. We're one of the oldest states. We have a brain drain problem. Every year we bring all these smart kids who come to Rhode Island. Some of them grew up in Rhode Island, and we lose, I think, second highest percentage of young college grads leave the state of any city in the country. Will this help to be a solidifying part of the foundation to help give an indication that there's a future to work in Providence, that there's an opportunity for innovation and create a business of your own?
Certainly that is the entire intent of
Yeah.
why I'm here. Mass Challenge is in existence for all of those reasons and so many more. Just anecdotally, we have a few companies in our cohort that recently graduated from Brown, went through the Nelson Center, are amazing. Were they planning to stay in Rhode Island? Were they not accepted into our cohort? That's definitely something that's nobody knows.
Right.
And then on the flip side, it's very exciting because we do have some companies, or one company in particular from the Framingham area, and they've become so ensconced here this summer, and they found such a tremendous network that they are actively talking about moving down here, and that's exactly what we want to see happen.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. I don't understand, I'll be perfectly honest, how Rhode Island has not been a better attraction for companies working up in Boston to come down here.
Yeah.
We've sort of played to our weaknesses, I think, too many times. I was talking to, we were talking in the green room, I was with the head of one of the law firms the other day who's made a huge investment in the city, redoing a major piece of real estate, and he said, you know, we could be anywhere. I'm 8 stop signs away from my office, right? So the hell of Boston commute in which you could be 10 miles away and have an hour and a half commute each way is literally the reality of the Boston metro area right now. And this guy's running a major law firm and lives 8 stop signs away, you know,
That's
a
very Rhode Island.
mile and a half from his office.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about the summer living. They came in June, and where are they living?
So I try not to get too involved in that, I will be honest.
You and your husband and children have not, none of them are on your couch,
I
correct?
definitely considered taking one in. I'm not going to lie, my husband forbade it. So that is part of the deal. When they come, they have to arrange their own living. Thankfully, the program does run in the summer, and there's a lot of student rentals available to sublet. So my understanding is a few have found places in that way. And hey, you know, we are the home of the founders of Airbnb, so maybe they're following suit. I don't know. I mean, for all I know, they could be camping out more often than I believe in the CIC building. It's open 24 hours a day.
So as long as no one, security doesn't find them.
Right, exactly.
What's your expectation from these 5 finalists? How will they go? Where will they go? And are you hoping, as part of this, that they become kind of disciples, spreading the word about Rhode Island and where and how it is as a startup community?
So absolutely, they are our evangelists, and the Mass Challenge alumni community is huge at this point. It's over 2,500 companies.
Right.
It's 10 years, and the best part about running the program down here is that while we're very, very committed and frankly reliant on the local resources, there is access to this entire global database of folks that have trodden their paths before, as well as other investors and subject matter experts that they've been able to tap into.
Great. And you partnered with, the impetus for this was working with Commerce RI.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that experience and where you are in the funding scheme of all this.
Absolutely. So the great news is being a nonprofit means you can work with virtually anyone.
Right.
So we do enjoy a relationship with the state, which has been huge and a real catalyst to success, to be honest. And that investment has been quickly followed on by investment from some local sponsors here in the community in the form of Hasbro and FM Global and Delta Dental and Amica, and some others.
Great. And then obviously some partnerships with Brown, URI.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We definitely enjoy a very tight partnership with URI and Brown and IBM at the moment, more so. That's codified purely through the Innovation Campus Bond Initiative. So I am in residence with those 3 entities.
And the other two that seem to be logical, would be RISD and Bryant coming out of
Absolutely.
from sort of left brain, right brain
Sure.
perspectives. Do you see that beginning to morph and the
I've
potential
had
for
some
that?
great conversations with the dean at Bryant, so I think that there's absolute potential there, and certainly RISD. I was very fortunate earlier in the year to go and participate in their new eShip or relaunch of their eShip program, which is their student entrepreneurship program. So I think it's happening all over.
That's
I do.
right. What's the biggest danger for this beginning of momentum for Rhode Island sort of startup technology community?
I mean, for me, the biggest danger is just fatiguing the community. I'm reminded we're 1 million people, and I
So we
call
call
it a lot
it
of
we call
favors.
it we call it 800,000, right? We
Okay,
exclude
excuse me.
nursing homes, prisoners, and those under age 11 because they
Okay.
don't have an iPhone yet.
Okay.
So
Fair
we
enough.
just go with 800,000.
So fatiguing the community of people that want to lean in and participate and be supportive. Again, just because my success and entrepreneurship around the nation really is so reliant. There's a study that Kauffman Foundation did, and it's something like 3 out of 1,000 people start a business every day and sort of get it slightly up the hill, and it's about that 997 other folks that have to really help them get over the line.
That's great. Anything else we should know? You've got a big event here starting tonight into tomorrow?
Right, absolutely. So I'm delighted to participate in the SSTI conference, and that is a national organization of policymakers, innovation folks, economic development secretaries, and et cetera from all over, and they're convening in Rhode Island, starting tonight and running all day tomorrow at the Providence Convention Center. And we're really excited to tell them the story of Rhode Island and innovation, and really taking this whole notion of an innovation economy and giving it some real girth and meaning to people other than ourselves.
That's great. I want to thank you for coming on. Thanks
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
And we'll hear lots more. I think we're going to come over and visit you as you
Excellent.
get closer
Yeah.
to the end. Maybe we'll do a little live broadcast over
Works.
at CIC.
Absolutely.
Thank you to Hope for coming on. Thanks for our friends at Commerce for joining us and the sponsorship of this. We'll be back tomorrow. I think Kate Nagel's going to be live 3 times tomorrow. There is a lot going on in Rhode Island. And then in the afternoon, I do believe she's got Jennifer Lawless from University of Virginia, the preeminent political scientist. She's everywhere in the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal these days. She'll be tuning in to talk about Democratic primary politics, and I bet about Mark Sanford announcing that he's going to primary Donald Trump. I don't know if they're going to talk about Sharpiegate again this week. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you back tomorrow on GoLocal Live.